Let's go ahead and check out the new one. We have L'Eau D'Issey Pour Homme Eau and Cedre by Issey Miyake. So on the back of the box here, it says, when water meets cedar, the intensity of cedar wood enhanced by the freshness of water. So also on the back of the box, I'll show you in a second, it says 100% wooden cap and 20% PCR recycled glass. So kind of appears to be another launch here where the brands are trying to be environmentally focused, which is always cool to see. This one is an Eau de Toilette intense concentration. From pictures online, the bottle looks really sharp, box looks cool. So let's go and open it up and see what we have. Okay, so here's our bottle. Looks very nice, you know, not too much to it in terms of the glass itself. It's not colored or anything like that. Actually, there's a little bit of damage to the side of my bottle here. I don't know if you can see that on camera. A small little chip, and then like some scuffing. I don't know if that shows up right there. Not a big deal. Doesn't really bother me, but you know, it's something to be aware of. 100% wooden cap, like it said, and it really does have a cool texture to it. You could see it, you could feel it. Pretty cool little touch. We do have, you know, like a little green color match to the collar and atomizer that matches the color of the cap as well. It's not focusing, but you guys get the idea. A woody fragrance enhanced by water, apparently. Let's go ahead and get this one on skin, and we'll see what it's all about. So it does open up very fresh, you know, very woody. One thing when you look at the note breakdown is there aren't any watery notes. It's really all woods and a little bit of a spiciness. So I think the note breakdown here could be a little bit misleading for some of you because there is more freshness than what meets the eye when you look at the note breakdown. We'll take a look at those notes. We have cardamom, cedarwood, and vetiver and patchouli. So cardamom up top, cedarwood in the mid, vetiver, patchouli in the base. It's kind of where we're sitting here with this one. Very woods heavy. Again, no watery notes, no aquatic notes like they are kind of telling us here on the back of the box, which is interesting, but still, you know, you do pick up on a freshness. You do get the cardamom. It gives it a little bit of a oriental spiciness, a touch of a warmth as well, kind of warm spicy there coming from that. The cedarwood also gives it this kind of textured, masculine, woody smell, a tiny bit of a smokiness, and a little bit of a dry aspect. You know, sometimes cedarwood could come across a little bit dry, spicy, that sort of thing, and it's kind of how it is here. Vetiver, you get bits and pieces of it here. Really just a nice, clean, soapy vetiver. It's not too strong, not too earthy or anything like that. And what else do we have? Patchouli. Get a little bit of it, not all that much yet though. Those are base notes. They'll probably show up more as time goes on. I do think it smells very pleasant though. You know, of course the brand has a ton of fragrances. This line has tons and tons and tons of fragrances. And so it always is one of those things where you're never really sure if you should look forward to the new release or not. You know, either it'll be just okay, maybe it'll be really, really good like a few of them are. This one here is very pleasant, and I would choose this one over something like Wood and Wood, for example. I think I prefer this one over that. And there's a few other ones that are, you know, kind of boring, generic, that sort of thing. This one does have a very likable and very mass-pleasing smell to it. So if you're looking for something that is super, super unique, you know, as an enthusiast, this probably won't be it for you. It's not going to have that level of challenging aspect to it. But if you just want something that's wearable, mass-pleasing, easy to just pick up and spray on, I see this one fitting into that category very well. And I also think that this one potentially would do very well for people outside of the community, just your average everyday consumer who wants to smell good. I think this could work. It is starting to soften up a little bit as it's drying down on my skin. The spiciness is kind of going away. It's starting to smooth out. It's turning into a softer woody scent. You know, some of those dry aspects from the cedar wood is kind of taking a back seat here. It's just calming down, and it's still smelling very pleasant though. Patchouli starting to work its way in a little bit, giving it kind of a green aspect. The vetiver is also starting to become more prominent. Again, it's a soapier, clean variety of vetiver, something that's very easy to pull off. I could see this one as being a really, really good work scent. Work, school, office environment, anything like that where you're not going to be going for an Eros type of fragrance or anything. You just want something that's relatively subtle, professional, that sort of thing. This one could work very well, almost in a similar fashion to something like Terre d'Hermès. Now, scent-wise, they're completely different, but usage, I think they could be in a similar ballpark here. Just woody, clean, fresh, masculine, kind of modernized, and very, very wearable for a whole bunch of situations, for a whole bunch of different guys as well. Now, one thing that I am noticing is that it doesn't necessarily smell like anything else that I have or that I've smelled before. It's kind of off in its own little world here of just being a fresh, woody scent, you know. It is going to be familiar in a sense, but to me, it's not familiar to anything in specific, if that makes sense. Let's take a look at Fragrantica here, see what it's compared to. So first up, we have Atelier Cologne Cedar Atlas. Haven't smelled that one, but cedar wood base, so it would make sense. We have Aqua Fresca Citrus Cedro Adolfo by Adolfo Dominguez. I don't have that one. I have a couple from the line, though. This one, not sure if it's in production still. I don't really know. Then we have another cedarwood fragrance, Cedar by Fragonard. Haven't smelled that one either. And Terre d'Hermès Eau Intense Vetiver there at the very end. You know, again, it's sharing vetiver woods. I don't think it smells like that one. That's the only one out of the lineup here that I've smelled that they're comparing it to. It's kind of what it is, you know. A couple of the reviews, smells like a gentler version of Dior Homme 2020. Maybe somewhat, you know, that one's very woody heavy, a lot of Issey super, but a lot of vetiver woods. And I guess if you look at it that way, that would be another way to think of it, you know. This one is not nearly as strong as the Dior, and that's what that person said. A softer version of that one, in a way, could kind of be a decent way to kind of tell you what category this one fits in. It's woody, the watery nature that they're trying to, provide with this one comes through and softens it up. It's very pleasant. Now, I'm not sure about performance on this one. You know, who knows really how it's going to do. It's woods focused, so being that it does have, you know, heavier notes versus all citrus, I would hope that it would do decent, but you really never know. It's kind of hit or miss with these as well. It's an eau de toilette intense, like I said in the beginning, so maybe we'll get lucky, maybe not. Atomizer's good, puts out a good amount of stuff. Smells great. I like it. I really do. Now, is it going to be one of my favorite releases of the year? So far, no, not quite. I do really like it, though. And while it's not at the end, like the bottom of the list of what's been put out so far, it's better than some. I would probably put it kind of in the middle. You know, we've had a couple releases that have been a little bit underwhelming. You know, there's Bad Boy Cobalt, that sort of thing, which is just kind of, it's okay, it's nice. Maybe one or two more that I can't think of off the top of my head that have been a little bit of kind of a letdown, forgettable. This one here, I think, has just enough going on to where it won't be forgettable, where you can remember it, but it's right there on the line where if they dumbed it down a little bit more, this could easily be one that could be forgotten about and not really talked about. So they're kind of riding the edge there. And sometimes you really need to go all the way in, do something much more different to make it stick, because there's so many things being put out all the time in this day and age. You really got to go big or go home, and this one's right there on the line. Alrighty guys, that's going to do it for me. That is my first impressions on Eau and Cedre by Issey Miyake. Love the bottle, love the name, love the cap, really like the smell. Wouldn't say I'm in love with the smell, but I do really like it. It's pleasant for sure and very wearable. Once the price comes down a bit on this one, if you could get it for a halfway decent price, it would be a nice dumb reach that you could apply heavily and wear in the warmer months. Alrighty, I'm going to link this one down below. That's going to do it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.